Hello Aquarius, I am Ulrich, I'm a Lenormand card reader, and today we will do the financial card reading for the sign of Aquarius for the month of December. But before we start, I want to wish you all happy holidays. I hope you stay in very good health, and of course, I wish you a very financially prosperous year. Coming back to the card reading, as always, we will do 4 card readings for the sign of Aquarius for the month of December. And these are based on the natural elements in your astrological chart, or for some of you, on your time of birth. These basic elements are air, earth, water, and fire. Now, the 4 objects that you always see on my table are directly connected to those elements. So you choose or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current financial situation. However, if the object and the related video does not match your first choice, please check out the other videos that are directly connected in the same session. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, the matches represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. Also, I want to add, if you have questions, you can always post them in the comments below, and I will answer them as soon as I have time. Anyway, Aquarius, here we go for your financial card reading for December 2021. Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your philosophical financial card reading for the month of December. Welcome for the water group, that is. The first card that we see here is well-organized gifts. What does this mean? Well, probably you have a big heart and you give a lot to other people. Probably you give a lot of gifts to your loved ones, or you spoil them. This is what we see here with this card. But this card lets us see the other side, and it asks you if it was really necessary. Will your children love you less? Will your wife will be less in love with you because you spoil her less? Here, this card is about questions. It's about sharing things with our loved ones, but in certain limitations. If we buy always gifts for our loved ones, these purchases, of course, they have an impact on our budget. Well-ordered charity, it starts by itself. This is what the proverb says. And here we need to learn an important lesson when it comes to spending money. If you notice that your generosity comes or brings your finances in certain problems, or it changes your financial conditions, or it brings you in financial distress, of course, it has no place. This card is the card about questions, and it asks if in your case this is so. So before you give to others, secure your own future. This card tells us this is about securing our own future, the whole reading here that we have. So secure your own future, build yourself a safety cushion for yourself. The next card is also related to it. Stimulate your future rather than spending money, surpluses to loved ones. Know how to remove the essential from the unnecessary. If you save for them, you save also for yourself. And sometimes it's unwise to spend on gifts that were not really necessary. If you do so, if you contain this generosity, you will be able to amount certain savings that will be important in the future, because the next card here that we have here is also related to our future. This is the card of inheritance, or that we should or maybe are intending to rely on others. But this card discourages that idea. Here we see that we need to take care of ourselves for our retirement, also for projects that we are planning on the long run. Here, the first thing that this card tells us: if you are relying for certain projects or for a certain future, and you incalculate your inheritance or money that you think you will receive from others, this card tells you to not be fooled. It's utopian and dangerous to rely on others, also on your parents, for financial projects or maybe for retirement ideas. Of course, unless your parents are already unfit, this is another case, but then also we have not read their will. And also we don't know if we will be their sole heir. Maybe they split with somebody else. You are not sure until the lawyer reads the will or the notary. Here also we need to add that our parents will live probably much longer than their ancestors. And as they get older, they may gradually need all these savings for paying for services. They probably need to sell their house for their survival conditions. And of course, no one can blame them. Secondly, each individual has the right to their to change their testimonial dispositions at any time. And who knows, your mother or father, she will not or they will not succumb to the young Venus living next door or Cupid they met on the internet, and they will not decide them or maybe a brother or a sister instead of you. So we need to be careful here with these calculations. An inheritance, it can be a good part of an analysis, a financial analysis, but we need to be very careful with this. So here this card tells us, plan your pension or projects independently and you will come out as a winner. The last card is that probably if you want to, you have some money left at the end of the month, because the last card is the card of automatic savings. What does this card tell us? Well, this card asks you to organize the money at the end of the month that you have left. For instance, you transfer it or you give the order to your bank, or you do it yourself online, and you give the order for automatically the monies that are left in your bank account at the end of the month for transferring them from your business account into your savings account. It takes a while, of course, to adjust to this situation. You first need to see how much you actually can fixed transfer from one account to another. And of course, if you see that this works out well for you, and probably with this card it will, you could end up with nice reserves for your retirement, for plans that you have, for savings for your children, for studies of your children, for renovation projects, or maybe you have a trip you already long for a long time. Anyway, by regularly increasing these amounts over time, you will quickly amount important sums of money. So set up these automatic savings account now, discipline yourself, and you will begin a virtuous circle, which will lead you to more security and of course, financial stability. So Aquarius, for the shell or the water group, this is all for this philosophical card reading. I hope you get a little bit wiser with it. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check out the other 3 card readings that are directly connected to it. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Also check out your monthly Lenormand card readings. This is with different deck that we do that, but it's very detailed for your sign, for the sign of Aquarius, for the month of for every month we do this. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you and bye-bye for now. Hello Aquarius, and welcome to the Aerosol or the Air group for your financial philosophical card reading for the month of December. As the first card here, it's a very appropriate card that we have here. It's the card of Christmas, Easter and Valentine. It's actually the card about presents, also about birthdays, that we buy presents for other people. But this is specifically focused on things like Christmas. Why? Well, here through the years, Christmas is evolved in a very commercial thing. And here it's not about a question if you want to buy a present for your loved ones with Christmas, if you want to buy them a box of chocolate, if you want them a present, whatever, a small present. This is not what this card is about. This is about the amount that we spend. Here, Christmas, for instance, lost the very reason for what constitutes the basis for these gifts. People lost the essence, the real value of these festivals. It doesn't matter if you're religious or not, but Christmas gradually changed from a sacred holiday for a lot of people into a celebration of abundance. And this card wants you to make aware of this. Mostly in the rest of the year, we have a lot of financial goodwill and our budgeting is very good arranged. But at that time, mostly we spend a lot of money. And of course, then In January, we are facing the horror of the invoices. And this card wants you to warn for these expenses that you are about to make, because the card can go two ways with the card next to it, but we will come later to it. Here, this card wants you to remember why these festivals exist. And the real value here that this card tells us is that the most precious gift that we can give to our loved ones is time. Nobody has time anymore. We are all busy, and there is no more time. So if you want to give your loved ones a real precious gift, give them a few days of your time. Take some additional time off, some time off from your work, or arrange something that you can be with them more. This will be a high appreciated gifts. The most of the memories that we get is about stupid anecdotes that we have with our loved ones, funny situations, and this is much more important than the very big present probably that you are already calculating in your head. So this card is about focusing on not overspending and give the sincere meaning back to those holidays. The next card is, as I said, it can go both ways. If you're smart, you will come in a fairly good situation, meaning you will foresee that you will not spend too much. You will come in a better financial situation. If not, here we will need to sit on the blisters. So you are the one in control here. This is what we call an open reading. So here the cards tells you here the general idea is here to prepare yourself to evolve with the times, put everything in context. And here this card tells you we need to accept certain situations here. You need to manage your finances now. It's imperative for the future that you evolve, because we have the last card here of the evolvement here. Excuse me. Here this card says we can all aspire to the American dream and buy and abundance and wealth. But here the point that we see here with this card, that money is not necessarily associated with happiness. It's more associated with our loved ones and the people around us. So here we will need to accept our situation. If we are smart, we will come in a good situation. If not, we will be coming in a difficult situation after Christmas. Here, this card tells us also it doesn't matter what you earn, it's how you manage your income. We must make a very good balance here between our income and our expenses. Whatever your income or your savings might be, it's our actions that determine in the coming months if we will be short of money or not. The last card here, it wants you to evolve in your life, because this is the card of evolution. We evolve over the years. 2 decades are not the same. We already know this. Sometimes in 2 years, the world can go upside down. We noticed here with the so-called viruses around us now that our life has turned upside down. A lot of things has changed. Sometimes we were not able to see certain people, so our life turned upside down. This was not a question of a decade. This was just happened in a blink of an eye. But this card here tells us also that regarding to expenses, we can change certain things. For instance, we know that our expenses and our needs are always increasing. For instance, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we don't have the big internet expenses that we have now. It's all fine, and of course it's a necessity, this internet. But here it tells us also that some things in our life are no longer essential. For instance, if you notice and you focus on your phoning, probably you receive very few phone calls on your landline. And this card asks you, is this still necessary? Or can you get rid of this landline and save the money? So can you cancel this number if you not use it? For instance, for broadcasts on TV, if we have, for instance, cable, and we never watch the TV channels anymore, we always catch ourselves watching TV on the internet. What is the meaning of this subscription to the TV channels that you have? So you should consider if you cannot annul this. Here also we see if you have subscriptions, I'm sure you have on certain magazines or a newspaper, here that we are seeing. Here we can also save with this card, for instance, for buying the online version. Sometimes it's 40–50% cheaper. This is also from checking out our accounts. If we cannot, we need to check out here if our bank is in a good, giving us a financial good deal with our credit cards. You need to check this out, compare banks if you cannot change bank and if it don't bring you more profits without you actually do so. So a lot of people also now go for, we are in a time of change for internet banking. Internet banks are very cheap and mostly they are connected to very solid banks. If you do a little bit of research online, you will see most of these internet banks are connected to very big banks. The advantage of an internet bank is they are very cheap. Why? Because they have no staff and they have no branches. So it's very simple to make the calculation. Mostly you just pay for your plastic, for your credit card there, and the rest of the expenses is very kept to a minimum. So just check. It's not uncommon there with an internet bank that we save a minimum to €2,000 per year. You will not to do any efforts for that. That is just common. So here you need to review these monthly payments, your banks here, and ask yourself questions if you are really adjusted to the current times. Normally, Aquarius is very advanced for his time, but sometimes he can also be a little bit traditional and stick to old things. So you need to position yourself and review if you cannot evolve with the current times. So Aquarius, for the Air group, this is all. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are directly connected in here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Please check out also our monthly Lenormand card readings that we do very much in detail every month for your sign, for the sign of Aquarius. Anyway, thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you and bye-bye for now. Hello Aquarius, and welcome to the Stone or the Earth group for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of December. As the first card here, we see the card that is very appropriate now. It's the card of the holidays, Eastern, also Christmas and Saint Valentine, but now specifically on Christmas focused. This is the card that wants us to think about the very idea what is Christmas? As we know, Christmas has turned into a very commercial thing. It's not a question if we want or to buy a present for the people who we love, a box of chocolate or a gift. It's not about that, but here it's about the abundance here. Most of us lost the very reason for what constitutes the basis for the essence of these festivals. It doesn't matter if religious or not, but Christmas gradually changed its status from a sacred holiday to a celebration of abundance. And that is what this card is about. Mostly the rest of the year, we have a lot of financial goodwill, we budget, but at that time we lose control. Many of us lose control about the money. And of course, then in January, the horror of the invoices comes. And this card tells you to avoid that. Remember why these festivals exist. Learn about the origins even of Christmas, even if it's not your religion. Put it in context also about Easter and Valentine's. Inform yourself about the real value of these holidays. Even if it's your belief or not, put these celebrations in their historical context. That is what this card is about. Also, don't be led or fooled by advertisement and marketing, because these most marketing and banks, they want us to turn this whole society in a more marketing thing. They want to market, they want to exploit this situation, they want to make us in a real consuming society. And this card tells you to be different. Mostly Aquarius is different than the other, but this card tells you to implement, then be different than the others and use your money wisely in a different way. For instance, you can give them the most expensive gift of all, and that gift don't cost any money, it's your time. Your time is the most precious gift that you can give to your loved ones, your family members. Nobody has time. We are busy, 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 and we are social contacts. They are not what they should be, and especially also the contacts with our loved ones are minimized. So this card tells you to take a few additional days off and reconnect with your loved ones, and this is where the real gift is. The next card, the next two cards is about making yourself more secure. It's very appropriate here with the stone group. The stone is an earth group. The earth wants to get his feet on the ground. It wants to become more rooted. And here we see that we need to prepare ourselves for the irregularities of life, or we need to prepare ourselves because we never know what is coming in life. Even for bad times here, we need to prepare. No matter in what area of our life we are, there are always rainy days, there are storms, and even when it comes to money, it's unrealistic that we don't need to prepare ourselves for the irregularities of life. And this card is the card of the big questions. Do you have a rescue plan? Do you have a safety cushion? Did you foresee the unforeseen? Did you foresee the unpredictable? We never know what is going to happen. And this card asks you if you are ready for facing financial turmoil, a sudden disruption. Did you prepare? How did you prepare? So for instance, also it's about insurances. Do you have sufficient insurances? Your car, is it still safe? Is it still secure? Can it still go on? Can it still run for a few years? Do you have a little bit of savings? Do you spend all your earnings? Because here the last card that you have is about that we need to make a savings plan. So here, this card tells us to reflect over all these unforeseen things and act in control. We never know what is going to come. For instance, we never know that this so-called virus was going to hit us. So here we see that we need to prepare for the unforeseen. The last card is the card of automatic savings. What are automatic savings? Well, it means probably every month you have some money left. You come in a more solid situation, I think here. And here this card tells us to organize systematic savings. Here we need to see if we notice that at the end of the month, the money stays in our account, we don't spend it. This card urges us to incalculate this budget in a savings account. For instance, by the end of the month, you see that you have a certain amount left, and automatically you give the order in your bank, or you do it yourself online, and automatically this money is transferred in your savings account. It takes a while before you get used to that, not spending it and of course saving it. But when you do this, when you do this on periodic basis, of course, you will see that probably you can add more. You can put this in investments, because else this card would not be here. And if you do so, if you add on regular basis, you increase these amounts, you will be able to make reserves for your retirement, savings for your children, maybe for their studies, or a renovation project that you already for a long time have in your head, or if maybe the trip that you want to do with your family on yourself that is already a long time organized in your head. Anyway, by regularly increasing these amounts over the years, you can accumulate important sums. So set up your savings now, discipline yourself, begin a virtuous circle, which will lead you towards more security and of course more financial stability. And be aware of Christmas that coming. Think about yourself and about your future. Anyway, Aquarius, this is all for the Stone Group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this philosophical financial card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 card readings that are directly connected to it. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. And of course, check out our monthly Lenormand card readings. This is with another deck that are very into depth for your sign. You can find a lot of information there for the month to come. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you and bye-bye for now. Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to the matches or the fire group for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of December. As the first card here, we see the card of our children. What does this card mean? Well, it means that the children are a beautiful wealth here, but of course we see the pig here, they are also expensive. The apple of your eye, it costs you dearly. And as with any budget item, also there are essential expenses for them and less essential expenses for them. Here we see that probably we get requests from all sides for paying this, paying that. The children ask, as this person asks, and sometimes we lose our head here with this card. This card tells you to make wise investments in your children, for instance, in their education, in their culture, in a certain hobby that they are excel in, or are you just following the flow of other parents? You follow the trends of the moment, you don't invest in their future, you buy the latest gadgets, you buy the latest pair of shoes. This card asks you to ask yourself questions and set your priorities according to your own values and their own talents, and not according to their peers. So don't tell yourself stories. Children have no limits as to certain desires that they have. They will not stop. As soon as they have received, and you know this, they already have a new request here. So stop wasting your time and your energy with that kind of activity. This card tells us if you say no, be sure that they understand here. So teach them certain priorities in life, teach them how to handle money. This is what this card is about. Here also, probably also here it's related to the children. Also, we need to teach them how to handle money, small amounts of money. Here we see also ourselves for our own. Here we see that probably we pay very little attention to small amounts of money that we spend. But for instance, if we always spend $5 or €5 on a credit card, at the end of the month, if we do this 20 or 30 times, it's a lot of money. So here we see that we need to control this more. If you are sensitive for buying small gadgets that don't cost a lot, and at the end of the month, you notice this is a big amount, you should think about this. Give it your sincere attention. Take a critical look here at those things. Also, don't go into things like everything is discounted here. Here, this blinds our financial point of view here. As we know, it takes a lot of small coins or bills to create 100, and that forges itself into 1,000. So we need a lot of efforts for that. It's very important here. This card tells us that you do so. So the next time, if you visit a store, rate what you have bought, look at the articles and check what is necessary and not necessary. So here, this card tells you to value these small amounts, small coins here, and we would not lose track of it. So give it back its moment of glory, these small amounts that you spend, and maybe you can save them for something else. Because the last card tells us that every gesture that we do, it counts. It's important that we calculate. But here, this card is also about the way we use, and it's actually directly connected to these cards. If we spend, and we spend with a credit card, we know that our brain don't calculate. We never check our credit cards. And also by the end of the month, when everything comes on the internet, what we have spent in the last month, we don't check, we don't even open the email, we don't check our spendings. And this card tells us to do this differently. For instance, instead of using your credit card, you should try to pay cash. You withdraw the money from the ATM or whatever thing that you use here. And we see here that with doing so and putting the money actually in our wallet, we have an idea, we have a sense of spending money, meaning if we hand the money over to the cashier, it actually brings a pain response in our brain. It's not actually pain, but we actually realize that we spend money. And secondly, we see the physical action, we see actually the money disappearing out of the wallet. So this is the intention. So here, we need to get ourselves more in hand for making savings for the future. I think especially here, it's focused on the children. Maybe your children have some needs for the future from studying. So maybe this reading is focused on that. Maybe some small amounts of money are coming up in the future. I think this is what this reading is about. So stop insignificant disbursements with which accumulate to large amounts. And if you do so, you can invest these monies in something else. It's through a series of small micro decisions that we will get where we need to be. So Aquarius, for the matches or the fire group, this is all for this month. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit your role, please check out the other 3 card readings that are directly connected to it, and also check out our monthly Lenormand card reading. This is with a different deck, where you can find a lot of details there for the month to come, for yourself, for the sign of Aquarius, that is. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you, and bye-bye for now.